Rocker Pat here. All right, guys, we are going to try to help our buddy up there in Canada. I think that's where P Street lives. Mr. P Street. I don't know what your real name is, brother, but this is what's going on with your evap problem. We are currently in the all data. This is for an 08 Mustang. Yours is a 12 Mustang, but these codes are pretty much universal if I was on a 12. So this is what we got going on here, dude. You got a 451 and you got a 1450. Both of them are dealing with your fuel tank pressure sensor. The fuel tank pressure sensor is located at the top of the fuel tank. The fuel tank pressure sensor, how this system works, so that we can get a little education of how you're working. It is not your purge valve. And I believe it's not your purge valve, because this is going to talk about the sensors out of range and everything. The only way it could be your purge valve is if the purge valve is stuck open, and then therefore you take the vacuum line off of the purge valve. The purge valve is up at your intake manifold, the one you just did a video about changing, okay? If that's stuck open and it's constantly pulling vacuum to the gas tank, see how it works is you've got three things going on in the evap system. Number one, you've got your purge valve. Number two, you've got your fuel tank pressure sensor. And number three, you have your vent valve, okay? These are the three circuits that are gonna be for your evap system. What happens is, what the system is trying to do is it is trying to take the fumes off the top of the gas tank and run them through the intake manifold. This way, when you open up the gas tank, the fumes aren't coming out of the gas cap. Also, you have a filter at the back of the car that is going to be your charcoal filter. That's there so that as the gas is being drawn out of the fuel tank, the air can come in. But it uses the charcoal to keep the fumes from going out into the atmosphere. That's basically what we're working on here, okay? So what I believe is happening is either A, you do have the purge valve stuck open and it's constantly pulling vacuum on the gas tank, which is causing it to say that it has a pressure sensor switch range performance, okay? But I don't really believe that's the case. I believe that you probably got an open in the sensor. And when we look right here at our probable causes for the 451, we look at intermittent, open, or short in the FTP sensor or the FTP sensor signal, okay? Then we got contaminated or damaged sensor, and then we got a damaged powertrain control module, which I'm telling you right now, it is not your PCM. Anybody that's saying it's the PCM is just pulling crap out of their ass, brother, okay? It is not the PCM. That would be a dead deal all the time, okay? What I think that is happening is okay, so right here we see the fuel tank pressure changes greater than 14 inches for 10 seconds. The FTP sensor output is offset by plus or minus 1.7 inches of water. If the sensor's bad, then it's going to throw everybody off, okay? So you either have a sensor problem on the top of the gas tank. Now let's go over to the 1451 or 1450. Okay? Now it says, when we read the description up here as to what's going on, all right? I'll get my finger out of the way so it'll focus on that. Monitors the fuel vapor and pressure in the fuel tank. System failure occurs when the evaporative emissions, the evap, running loss monitor detects excessive fuel tank vacuum with the engine running but not at idle, okay? And then it says, if you read all the possible causes, okay, we've got a blockage or kink in the evap canister tube, the evap canister purge outlet tube between the fuel tank, the evap canister purge valve, which is what you're working on up there, and the evap canister, which is going to be at the back. the stuck open fuel filler neck or fuel cap, okay, preventing vacuum relief, capless fuel tank capless, if you got a capless fuel tank pipe damage, I don't know if you've got that. Contaminated vapor elbow on the evap canister, meaning it's got too much liquid in it. Restricted evap, you got your vent solenoid stuck partially or fully open. You got your filter clogged. You got the evap canister purge valve stuck open, which is what we're talking about right there, you possibly being what you're working on. I don't know, I didn't get to the end of your video, but you said for help. But this is going to tell you what these codes mean, okay? Yeah, or at the end, you got a damaged fuel tank pressure sensor. So it says down here, diagnostic, visually inspect the evap canister inlet ports. I don't know what the C means, but I'm assuming that that's going to be the vent solenoid filter. The canister vent hose assembly for contamination and debris, and check your evap canister purge valve for a vacuum leak. Which how you do that is you leave it plugged in or unplugged, and if you take that hose loose from the top of it and it starts spewing vacuum, well then you know your problem is the purge valve is bad. Especially if you unplug the electrical side, then you know your purge valve's bad. All right, brother. I hope that helps you. That's what the all data says about those two codes you got. People that are saying to just disconnect this and let the battery down, and it's not going to fix it, dude. It never does, never will. That's just clearing the code, and it comes back the next time you run the IM readinesses, and it runs the evap system, and the code comes back. The thing about the evap is, it's the last one to go on your monitor system, and it'll be the last one to trip probably. It only happens if the engine is within 7 degrees, the intake air temperature and the coolant temperature of the engine are within 7 degrees of each other. Basically, it only really runs when it's cold first thing in the morning. And if you got less than 15% of fuel or more than 85% of fuel, it won't run at all. So there's a happy sweet spot with the evap system. I can tell you this, it's not going to cause your car any problem on running, driving, or stopping, or anything at all. It is merely sucking the fumes off the top of the gas tank. That's all it is. All right, guys, y'all keep rocking and rolling and rolling and rocking. Hope that helps you. Peace Street. Talk to you next time.